You asked for it. Here's part 2. The Hail Mary, Doomsday Defense. Tom Landry's fedora on the sideline. America's team wasn't just a nickname. It was a fact. You watched these games on CBS every Sunday. The whole neighborhood wore the star. Your dad had the jacket. Your uncle quoted Roger Staubach like scripture. The Cowboys were everywhere in the 70s. The computer scouting, the flex defense, the shotgun formation that nobody else was running. Landry made football into chess while everyone else was still playing checkers. But what happened when the star came off the helmet? When the computer stopped spitting out draft picks? Some became millionaires. Others became cautionary tales. This is what happened to the men who made Dallas royalty. Blaine Nye, 6'4" offensive guard who protected Roger Staubach while earning a master's in physics from Stanford, then got an MBA, then got a PhD in finance. The smartest guy on a team full of computer-scouted geniuses. Founded something called the Zero Club, players who despised publicity and just wanted to block people in peace. Most NFL legends retire and open car dealerships. Nye founded Stanford Consulting Group, economic consulting firm, made more money in one business deal than his entire NFL career. You know what's wild? While Roger Staubach was becoming the face of the franchise, Nye was quietly building an empire in California. The guy who hated publicity became wealthier than the guys who loved it. Today at 79, still running his consulting business. The offensive guard with a PhD in finance chose boardrooms over broadcast booths and never looked back. Larry Bethea, first-round pick in 1978, 6'5" defensive end. The Cowboys thought they'd found the heir to the Doomsday defense legacy. Supposed to be the next George Andre, supposed to terrorize quarterbacks for the next decade. Here's what actually happened. Drug addiction. Career flamed out faster than a match in a windstorm. By the time most first-round picks are hitting their prime, Bethea was already done. Gone. The Cowboys' computer system that found Herbert Scott in the 13th round completely whiffed on their first-round investment. Then it got darker. Stole $64,000 from his mother, faced robbery charges. The same hands that were supposed to sack quarterbacks were stealing from the woman who raised him. Drug addiction eating his brain. Future disappearing one hit at a time. April 23, 1987. Larry Bethea commits suicide at 30. The first-round pick who was supposed to extend the Doomsday legacy couldn't survive his own demons. Rafael Septién, reliable kicker for the Cowboys through the late 70s and early 80s. Led the team in scoring. Automatic from inside 40 yards when the game was on the line. The kind of steady specialist Tom Landry loved. No drama, just points. Then, 1987 hits. Indicted for indecency with a child. The details? Ugly. Real ugly. 10-year probation. The Cowboys cut ties immediately. No goodbye press conference. No tribute video. Just gone. Erased from team history like he never existed. Most disgraced NFL players try to rebuild somewhere. Septién fled to Cancun, Mexico, selling timeshares to tourists who have no idea he used to kick field goals in Super Bowls. The guy who once led the Cowboys in scoring now hustles vacation packages on the beach. Today at 71, still an exile, still in Cancun. The kicker who was automatic from 40 yards couldn't escape what he did. Lance Rentzel, 6'2" receiver with movie star looks, married to Hollywood sex symbol Joey Heatherton. The perfect couple. The glamorous life. Playing for America's team while married to America's sweetheart. Made it look easy. 1970. Another sex scandal. 10-year-old girl. Career destroyed overnight. The handsome receiver who had everything lost it all before he turned 30. Cowboys tried to distance themselves. Heatherton filed for divorce. America's golden couple became America's cautionary tale. Rentzel tried to explain it. Wrote an autobiography called When All the Laughter Died in Sorrow. Nobody bought it. Struggled with drug addiction for years while his former teammates kept winning Super Bowls. The receiver who caught passes from Don Meredith couldn't catch a break after the scandal broke. Today at 82, 55 years of silence since 1970. Remember watching Roger Staubach scramble in the pocket? When your dad yelled at the TV like Staubach could hear him? When the whole street went quiet during that Hail Mary? Drop a comment. Tell us your Cowboys memory. The jerseys. The star. The moment you knew they were different. That's what made them more than a team. John Nyland. Offensive guard with a 20-inch neck and a technique they called the butt block. Hit you so hard with his backside you forgot which way you were supposed to go. 6 Pro Bowls. 2-time All-Pro. And after football, professional wrestler. Body slammed his way through the 70s wrestling circuit while most linemen were collecting disability checks. Then the mic found him. Radio host, television personality, even became a Pepsi spokesman. Imagine a 300-pound guard selling soft drinks in the 80s. 2020. Cancer diagnosis. The man who spent his career knocking people down had something trying to knock him down. Beat it. Today at 81, still in Dallas, still standing. The butt blocker who wouldn't stay down. Ron Springs. Running back and fullback in the early 80s. Dual threat guy who could run, catch, and block. The kind of versatile player Tom Landry's system demanded. Did everything the Cowboys asked while Tony Dorsett got the headlines. Then diabetes hit. Lost a foot. Then his kidneys started failing. The running back who used to cut through NFL defenses couldn't outrun his own body shutting down. Needed a kidney transplant. Former teammate Everson Walls donated one in 2007. Saved his life. 2 years later, routine surgery. Something went wrong. Springs went into a coma and never woke up. 4 years in a vegetative state while his family watched and waited. The kidney transplant that saved his life couldn't save him from whatever happened on that operating table. May 12, 2011. Ron Springs dies at 54 after spending 4 years in a coma. Kidney from a teammate kept him alive for 2 years, but couldn't win the final battle. Herbert Scott. 13th round draft pick from Virginia Union. Nobody was supposed to find him, but the Cowboys' computer scouting system did. Tom Landry's revolutionary, data-driven approach discovered a 3-time Pro Bowler in the 13th round, while other teams were drafting busts in the first. Anchored the offensive line that allowed Roger Staubach to operate that revolutionary shotgun offense. Made the holes for Tony Dorsett to run through. Essential piece of the Cowboys' intricate running game. The kind of player who made Landry's system work. 13 years blocking for America's team. Then retired and reality hit. The same violence that made him a Pro Bowler destroyed his body piece by piece. Involved in workers' compensation cases related to football injuries. The 13th round steal paid the price for all those years in the trenches. Today at 72, still dealing with the physical aftermath. The computer system found a Pro Bowler. The Pro Bowler found chronic pain. George Andre, 6'6" defensive end. Original Doomsday defense member. The bridge from expansion team struggles to Super Bowl glory. 1967 Ice Bowl. Green Bay. Minus 13 degrees. Bart Starr fumbles. Andre scoops it up and scores a touchdown. The defensive end who terrorized quarterbacks just put points on the board in the coldest game ever played. Founding father of Cowboys defense. The guy who set the template before Randy White and Ed Jones even existed. Made the Doomsday defense actually Doomsday for opposing offenses. Landry built the flex defense around players like Andre who could read, react, and destroy. After football, most defensive ends do autograph signings and fade away. Andre did the same. But dementia was coming. Heart failure too. The hits he delivered, his body kept the receipts. Brain deteriorating, heart giving out. August 21st, 2018. George Andre dies from heart failure and dementia complications at 78. The founding father of the Doomsday defense couldn't dodge time. Jean Fugett. 13th round pick by Dallas in 72. 4 seasons catching passes from Staubach. Then signed with the Redskins as a free agent after 75. That's when things got crazy. Worked as a reporter for the Washington Post while playing in the NFL, catching passes on Sunday, writing newspaper articles on Monday. Tom Landry's worst nightmare come true, in a division rival's uniform. But that wasn't enough. Law school at George Washington. At the same time he was playing for the Redskins. Most guys can barely handle one job. Fugett was juggling 3. 1983. Helps found TLC Group with his brother Reginald Lewis. Business, not football. Then tragedy. Reginald dies in 93. Gene steps up. Takes over TLC Beatrice International, the largest black-owned and managed business in the United States. Billion-dollar empire, run by a former tight end who couldn't stop achieving. Today at 74, still in Baltimore. Leadership Council for the American Diabetes Association. Past president of the NFLPA Retired Players Steering Committee. The kid Dallas drafted in the 13th round is running billion-dollar boards in his 70s. Ralph Neely. All-pro tackle involved in the biggest legal battle of the AFL-NFL merger wars. Signed with both the Houston Oilers and Dallas Cowboys. 2 contracts, 2 teams, One player. The leagues fought over him in court. Cowboys won. Neely spent 13 years protecting quarterbacks in Dallas. After football, the hits caught up. Dementia. CTE. The same brain that read NFL defenses couldn't remember yesterday. Became a plaintiff in the NFL concussion lawsuits, fighting the league that made him famous while his mind disappeared piece by piece. You know what's wild? Neely used to pilot planes and ride in rodeos as hobbies. The fearless tackle who did everything at full speed couldn't slow down the disease eating his brain. January 5, 2022. Ralph Neely dies from dementia and CTE complications at 78. The All-Pro tackle who won the legal battle lost the final fight. Randy White, the Manster. Half man, half monster. 6'4" defensive tackle who made offensive linemen have nightmares. Originally a linebacker, Tom Landry moved him to defensive tackle and created a Hall of Fame career. Co-MVP of Super Bowl XII with Harvey Martin. Played that game with a cast on his hand and still dominated. After 15 seasons terrorizing quarterbacks, White didn't disappear. Became a successful businessman and rancher in Texas. The Manster who destroyed blocking schemes was now building cattle operations and investment portfolios. Made smart money while other Cowboys legends were filing for bankruptcy. You know what's different about Randy White? No scandals, no addiction, no tragic ending. Just a Hall of Fame career followed by a quiet, successful life. The defensive tackle who played Super Bowl XII with a broken hand figured out how to win after football too. After football, the violence didn't stop. Thai boxing, martial arts. The man who terrorized quarterbacks needed somewhere to put that energy. Then real estate, ranching. The Manster became a businessman in boots. Today at 72, still in Texas, still closing deals instead of gaps. The man Tom Landry built into a weapon learned how to use it off the field. Jethro Pugh, 6'6" defensive tackle known as Buzz. 14 seasons anchoring the Doomsday defense. Won 2 Super Bowls. The kind of consistent, reliable player Tom Landry built championship teams around. Never the loudest guy in the room, just showed up and did the work. After retirement, became a successful entrepreneur. Gift shop chain at DFW Airport. The defensive tackle who stuffed running backs was now selling Cowboys merchandise to tourists. Made more money selling souvenirs than he ever made playing the game. Smart business, steady income. But here's the thing. Hall of Fame voters keep overlooking him. Considered the missing link in Canton conversations. 14 seasons, 2 rings. Doomsday defense anchor. Still waiting for the call that never came. January 7, 2015. Jethro Pugh dies at 70. The defensive tackle who won 2 Super Bowls never got his Hall of Fame moment. Craig Morton, the other quarterback. The guy who lost the job to Roger Staubach and never lived it down. The Morton-Staubach controversy tore the Cowboys locker room apart for years. Tom Landry couldn't decide. Players took sides. Dallas media went insane. Cowboys finally traded Morton to the Giants. Then he landed in Denver. 1977. Morton leads the Broncos to Super Bowl XII. Against Dallas. Against his former team. Received death threats before the game. Former teammates wanted blood. The game? Absolute disaster. Morton played terribly. The Doomsday defense he used to practice against destroyed him. Randy White and Harvey Martin shared MVP honors for targeting Morton all game. The quarterback who left Dallas got humiliated by Dallas on the biggest stage. After football, made peace with his legacy. Moved to California. Today at 82, still living quietly. The quarterback who lost the controversy to Roger Staubach spent 50 years proving that sometimes being second is just your story. Dan Reeves, versatile running back who became Tom Landry's protege. Player coach who navigated the Morton-Staubach quarterback tension by staying neutral. The smartest football mind in a locker room full of smart players. Landry saw coaching potential before Reeves even retired. After Dallas, became one of the most successful head coaches in NFL history. Denver Broncos, Atlanta Falcons, took teams to Super Bowls, participated in 9 Super Bowls as player and coach, more than almost anyone in NFL history. The running back who learned from Tom Landry became the coach who challenged Tom Landry's legacy. Never won the big one as a head coach. Got close.
4 Super Bowl appearances as head coach, 0 rings. The running back who won with Dallas couldn't capture that magic as a head coach. January 1st, 2022. Dan Reeves dies at 77. The player coach who participated in 9 Super Bowls left behind a legacy bigger than rings. Pat Donovan, shot put champion from Stanford, drafted as a defensive end. Tom Landry looked at him and said, "Offensive tackle." Most guys who switch positions at the pro level flame out. Donovan, 4-time Pro Bowler, 9 years protecting Staubach and Danny White. After Dallas, real estate development in Texas. Then 1991, Montana called him home. Whitefish, building houses in the mountains. But football wouldn't let go. Television, coaching, even crossed the border. Part-time coach at McGill University in Montreal. A Dallas Cowboy teaching football in Canada. 2016, Montana Football Hall of Fame. Today at 72, still in Whitefish. The shot put champion who switched positions is still switching lanes. Pettis Norman, tight end and civil rights activist during the most turbulent era in American history. Played football while fighting for equality. The leader in a locker room that wasn't always comfortable with leadership. Key figure in integrating Dallas banking and business sectors after retirement. Became a successful businessman. Owned fast food franchises, transportation companies. Made real money while other players were blowing their NFL salaries. But Norman did something bigger. Sued the Cowboys and NFL regarding free agency rights under the Roselle Rule. Fighting for players' rights while building his empire. The tight end who caught passes from Don Meredith became the businessman who changed how NFL free agency worked. Made millions, changed the game, did it all without compromising his principles. July 7, 2025. Pettis Norman dies at 86. The civil rights activist who played tight end spent 60 years fighting battles bigger than football.
Ed Jones, too tall, 6'9" defensive end who made offensive tackles look like children. 15 seasons in Dallas, franchise record that still stands. But here's the crazy part. Jones left the NFL in 1979 to become a professional boxer, retired from football, put on boxing gloves, went 6-0 with 5 knockouts. 1 year later, came back to the Cowboys and dominated again. The defensive end who retired to box returned like nothing happened. 15 total seasons, part of the Doomsday defense that made quarterbacks check under their beds at night. After finally retiring for good, didn't leave Dallas. Investment group with Preston Pearson, television, movies. Most NFL legends fade into obscurity. Too tall stayed visible. Business partner, actor, Dallas fixture for 40 years and counting. Today at 74, still in Dallas. The defensive end who left to box then came back, never really left at all. 1975 playoffs. Fourth quarter, Vikings ahead. Staubach scrambles, heaves it. Drew Pearson catches it. Your dad still calls it a push-off. Your neighbor still calls it a miracle. Drop a comment. Was it a catch or was it offensive pass interference? Benny Barnes, Contra Costa College, then Stanford, then undrafted. The long road to the NFL. But he made it, and made the most controversial play in Cowboys history. Super Bowl XIII. Fourth quarter, Cowboys down by 4. Lynn Swann running a route, Barnes covering him. Contact, flag, pass interference. The call that changed everything. NFL changed the rule after that game. Incidental contact. Barnes said, "I didn't foul him. The official fouled me." Spent 47 years saying the same thing. The cornerback who got flagged in the biggest game of his life became the reason the NFL rewrote the rulebook. After football, stayed in the Dallas area. Low profile. No autobiography. No coaching career. Just a quiet life while everyone else debated whether that call was correct. Today at 74, still maintains he didn't foul Lynn Swann. The cornerback who got flagged in Super Bowl XIII never stopped defending himself. Doug Cosbie, tight end who became Roger Staubach's safety blanket, then Danny White's safety blanket. 9-year career catching passes when defenders were trying to decapitate you. The reliable target in Tom Landry's precision offense. After 1988, went straight into coaching. Stanford under Bill Walsh, Cal under different coaches. Learning from the best offensive minds in football. Combining Tom Landry's discipline with Bill Walsh's creativity. Made himself a better coach than he ever was a player. Today at 69, Doug Cosbie is currently the head coach of the Bergamo Lions. The tight end who caught passes from Danny White at Texas Stadium now coaches football in Bergamo, Italy. Still drawing up plays, still teaching fundamentals. The tight end who learned from Landry and Walsh is now spreading their philosophy across the Atlantic Ocean. Tony Hill, the thrill. Dial 80 for touchdown ability. 6'2" receiver who became the premier deep threat after Bob Hayes retired. Caught passes from Roger Staubach and Danny White during the Cowboys' late 70s and early 80s dominance. Made defenses pay for double covering Drew Pearson. After retirement, founded Legend Sports Promotions, charity events, golf tournaments. Kept the Cowboys alumni network alive. The receiver who scored touchdowns became the organizer who kept former players connected, made sure nobody got forgotten, then took a job with the city of Allen Parks and Recreation. The deep threat who ran past defensive backs is now organizing community events in suburban Dallas. Frequent Cowboys ambassador and commentator. Never left, never disappeared. Today at 69, still working for Allen Parks and Recreation. The receiver known as the Thrill found purpose in public service. Efren Herrera, flamboyant, emotional kicker who brought chaos to the special teams unit. Tom Landry hated emotional players. Herrera was all emotion. Every kick was life or death. Every miss was the end of the world. Super Bowl XII, the biggest game of his life. Herrera misses 3 field goals, sets a Super Bowl record that still stands today. The Cowboys won anyway because the defense destroyed Craig Morton. But Herrera's record? Forever. After football, went back to California, became a high school coach. The emotional kicker who melted down in Super Bowls is now teaching teenagers how to handle pressure. Claremont High School, assistant coach for years. Today at 74, still coaching high school football. The kicker who set the wrong Super Bowl record found redemption teaching kids how to kick. Aaron Kyle, first-round pick from Wyoming, known as the Eraser. 6-foot defensive back who wore number 25 and hit like a linebacker. Fierce hitter in an era when defensive backs could actually hit receivers. Intercepted a pass that helped seal Super Bowl XII victory over Denver. Over Craig Morton. Over the quarterback who used to practice with Kyle in Dallas. 4 years in Dallas before moving to Denver. The Eraser, who helped the Cowboys win Super Bowl XII, eventually played for the team they beat. NFL carousel. Business decision. After retirement, moved to Detroit area. Most first-round picks stay in the spotlight. Kyle disappeared into suburban Michigan. No coaching career, no broadcasting, just quiet retirement. Today at 71, still living in Detroit area. The first-round pick known as the Eraser erased himself from public life. Mike Ditka, Iron Mike, tight end who brought Chicago toughness to sterile Dallas. The guy who made Tom Landry's system work by being everything Landry wasn't. Emotional, volatile, unpredictable. Played for Dallas, then became an assistant coach. 1975, sent in the play call for Roger Staubach's famous Hail Mary. The pass that made Drew Pearson famous? Mike Ditka called that play. After Dallas, went back to Chicago as head coach, built the '85 Bears, won Super Bowl XX, became a cultural icon bigger than the team itself, ESPN analyst for 17 years, restaurant empire, commercials, endorsements, made more money talking about football than playing it. Here's what matters. Ditka is one of 2 men to win a Super Bowl as a player, assistant coach, and head coach. Tom Flores did it too. 3 different roles, 3 rings. Today at 86, still has that Chicago toughness. The tight end who caught passes in Dallas became the coach who conquered Chicago. One team, 24 completely different stories. That's what happens after America's team becomes America's memory. Tom Landry's computer system found Hall of Famers in the 13th round and busts in the 1st round. The Doomsday defense that made Saturday Night Live sketches possible ended with dementia and lawsuits. Some became millionaires, others became exiles. The star on the helmet promised glory. Reality delivered everything else. If this hit different, smash that subscribe button because next week we're doing the 1989 draft busts. You won't believe who the Packers drafted instead of Barry Sanders.